mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this all you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I
No mate, Hari mate, Hiki mate, Kaki mate. Welcome to Aotearoa, the home of rugby, well the real home of rugby. Welcome in wherever you are around the world for day 2 of the International Defence Rugby competition, and looking forward to this one because today we have the big, strong, fast-running Tongans up against the might of the French. Following that, it is Australia taking on Great Britain. Yes, it is the battle of the Ashes. Day 1, well, we saw some remarkable running rugby. We saw wonderful physicality. Again, a demonstration of just how far the women's game has come. Joining me in commentary is Steve Harris. Steve, let's talk about the first up game, Tonga, France. We know the French, particularly at scrum time, technically very good. That Tongan team, boy, they are big, they are fast, and they like to play the 15-man game. How do you see this one?
Oh, listen, it should be a real contrast in styles. We know the French a little bit unlucky the other day against the New Zealand defence team, and the Tongans far too strong for Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu. But they have a great style. They play a very narrow channel, so it will be a contrast in style. The French will be good over the breakdown. They'll be good at set piece. So this Tongan team will have to get accuracy into their game.
Yeah, it's hard to get a gauge on the Tongan team because they did run over the top of a young, inexperienced Papua New Guinea Vanuatu side. So we really don't know what they're going to be like against a more structured team, but I would imagine for both teams it's making those first up tackles today. They must defend well.
Oh, very much so. For this Tongan team, we saw them the other day. They're really strong in those narrow channels. We probably didn't see them offload enough. They may have to offload a little bit more and get those support players to the breakdowns, because we know the European teams very good over the ball, very good at breakdown, a lot of accuracy.
Now, following this first up game, we will have Great Britain taking on Australia. The big surprise was how easy the Fijians ran over the top of the Australians. We have yet to see Great Britain in action, but if they're anything like their women's international team that are here for the Women's Rugby World Cup, this should be a beauty.
Oh, it should be. There'll be no love lost between these two teams. I know there's a lot of history no matter what the sport is, and it'll be no difference today at this defence tournament.
Okay, shortly we will bring you all of the national anthems. We will bring you all of the theatrics that go prior to a game of international rugby. But before we do that, let's go back and reflect on the first day's action.
Welcome to forever, man. Let's go. Come on, come on. This is forever. No surrender, no surrender. Yeah, yeah. You know that this right here forever. Go, go. And then we'll myself, they call me J.O. Aim to the easy E. Know that we undefeated, y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance. But his lines are overhead, better check the air for clearance. Call the tower, this is ours, clear the heat, the air apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy, this is forever. All the more times I've been severed, I'm raising the bar, you can go ahead and measure. Think about travel with toes. Time that we welcome to go. Yo, when just leaving, I think about time that somebody go get on their coat. You know I got all that anthem, come back in, what you call that add-on. Got anthems and bands with masters, getting them right like my name was Miranda. I ain't bigger dead than alive, I ain't bigger dead than alive. One more time, this is forever, remember the legend, he never gon' die, yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive. I ain't bigger dead than alive, dead than alive, yeah. I ain't bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive, Just making sure that you know why, because this is forever.
Oh, some wonderful highlights. Hardy mate, kaki mate, piki mate, welcome into College Rifles here in Remuera. Just how good is Labib, the tight head prop for France, just a wrecking ball against New Zealand. New Zealand weren't quite, New Zealand in the finish just been that little bit too strong. I'm not sure though that the score reflected the closeness of that game. For Tonga, we saw their absolutely wonderful scrum half, Tonga Tuiaki, who just scored 4 tries and potentially could have scored 6, but showing her vision, showing very much that she is the ultimate team player. Stephen Harris alongside me in commentary as we first have a look at this French team that will take the field today. A few changes in the side, Stephen?
Yeah, we've got, first of all, kia ora malelele, haere mai, and welcome to everybody tuning into this particular coverage. But just going through this French team, head coach Nicolas Bonnet-Pedon has made, I beg your pardon, it's a Tongan team that's come up on the stats. So there's a couple of late changes to the team. Lavinia Laakulu coming into the hooker spot at the 11th hour, and Monga Maheto, who was supposed to start at hooker, has gone into the number 8 jersey. The team today is also skippered by Uheina Hala Apipi. He's taking over the captain's band for this Tongan team. Should be an interesting contest with this Tongan side, but look out for Mele Akolo at the back in the number 15 jersey. It was so impressive in the first game that they played against Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, but pretty much the same lineup that Tonga is putting out for this particular game against this French team. Yeah,
there'll be a lot of pressure early on this front row for Tonga. We saw how good the French were against New Zealand, so mana whetoa, Laakulu and Vaitohe. A lot of early pressure on them. They'll be wanting to get plenty of support from their 2 locks in Tauli and Queensell, wearing the number 4 and number 5. It is a very good reserves bench too, plenty of impact coming off the bench. Well, let's now move on to the French side, because France, a lot of them are professional, semi-professional players that play right across their country, and it is a team that is incredibly well led by the great Pauline Galatau. We also saw Marie Gorgu, the fullback today. Wonderful attacking player she is, but it'll be all controlled by the very good Emma Cordeau.
Yeah, France head coach Nicolas Bonnet-Pedon has made 9 changes to the starting lineup, which went down 22-10 to New Zealand in the opening game. There's looks like there's 5 changes in the picks. Sole Vanat Anel comes in, Manon Ludek, Lisa Punu, Fanny Sinej, Audrey Baru in the pack coming into the side. In the backs we've seen 4 changes: Stephanie Mainet, Ceres Moulon, Adeline Cascasset and Marie Goujon. The French team skippered by Pauline Galatau, so impressive in the first game.
Yeah, absolutely, and if you do, the 2 teams about to make their way onto the field, and when you look at them side by side, Tongans, you'd say, have probably got the physicality, will certainly look the bigger side, the taller side, but we know that size is only a small part of this game. It's about your technical ability, it's about your fitness, it's about getting to the breakdown, it's about getting your cleaners in. It's an old cliche, but it's never changed in more than 130 years. It is a game that is won up front. Hope you are looking forward to this. We certainly are. Day 2 of the International Defence Rugby competition. It is the might of the South Pacific, Tonga, taking on the powerhouse from Europe, France. Beautiful day at College Rifles in central Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau. It is an artificial surface. so it'll be fast, it'll be flowing rugby. It's a big ground, weather conditions are superb. There is just that slight westerly breeze blowing, but it doesn't appear to be favouring any one particular end of the ground. And now time for the national anthems of both countries.
Upstanding for the national anthems.
Two very proud rugby nations, and of course Tonga very much a nation of faith, but they'll also acknowledge Her Royal Highness Crown Prince Sine Takala, Prince Ata and Prince Tuipeli Hake, who are in attendance today. Welcome to the Tongan royal family, and good to see the Tongans playing in their traditional colours of the might of the red and white. And now their traditional challenge will be laid down to this French team, who show wonderful respect. Wonderful support being shown by the Tongans as they lay down the challenge to the French. Boy, this first 10 minutes, it's going to be exciting. Stephen Harris dying to see the first scrum, to sort of see who has parity, to see whether or not the Tongans can match their size with the technical ability required to match a very good French outfit.
Oh, very much so. I think they'll be fired up for this one. You can just see the expectation with a lot of their supporters that have come here to College Rifles today. Like you say before, perfect conditions as well. There's a breeze that will be just looking at it, maybe just behind the Tongan team. So it's done a complete turn from our first game on day one, and it'll be the French to kick off.
Yeah, looking forward to this, and kicking off for the French will be their very good fly half, Emma Kudo. And Tonga, well, they're going to need to make sure that they do keep an eye on the very good tight head prop, Labib, who just wreaked havoc against the New Zealand Defence Ferns in the first game some days back. So we are underway. It is France taking on Tonga. And good start by the French immediately. They get themselves well and truly across the advantage line, but they turn the ball over. No, it comes back on the French side. Looking to bring in some of their big ball carriers, looking to try and find some space out wide. Good first up tackle from the Tongans. Both sides will just be wanting to get a little bit of a feel for how these sides set themselves up offensively and also defensively, but really good offloading from the French, and already it is the French who will score the first try in the corner from the kickoff, the left wing, and that is Stephanie Monet who scores the first try from what we have come to expect from the French over the years. They play the 15-man game. William Webb Ellis, who invented the game of rugby, be loving every bit of that, because that is a metaphor for the way the game should be played. Very, very good start from the French.
Oh, 40 seconds only gone, and some great work here by the French. Labib, she acted as a decoy initially, then got the offload, and they had some numbers on the outside, and of course, very good finish there by Mayne, and that's the perfect start for the French.
Yeah, Audrey Barreau, the big number 8 there. Wonderful support play for Labib, the big tight head prop. You know, a lot of people with Labib think, okay, she just brings that physicality. She's just going to sort of run straight up the middle. She's going to sort of be more effective in that pick and go. But what we did see against New Zealand is she is the ultimate player. She's got great hands. She's got great vision. She knows how to step. Is the conversion successful? Just away to the left, so it'll be France leading Tonga 5-0. Well, the Tongans, they're going to need to regather. They're going to need to be a little bit more focused. They're going to need to make their first up tackles. I think what we've seen from the French is they want to play it at pace.
Yeah, very smart play from the French as well. Just playing away from the strengths of Tonga. They don't want to get into contact. So those short little offloads, if this is a continuation, will cause havoc for this Tongan team.
So Hala Api is the number 10 for Tonga. She'll get play underway. We welcome in the Defence Forces from around the world. If you are watching this coverage, lovely to have your company from the home of rugby, Aotearoa. But the kick will be short, so mistake from the kick-off. So this will be frustrating the Tongan coaches. They're going to have a lot more accuracy if they get up above this French team. And now we'll have a chance to have a look at both packs. Looking at that French team, you've got Manon Leduc, Suliat Anel at hooker, tight head prop Labib, and for the Tongans, Manafatoa, hooker is La Akulu, and Ofa Vaitohe is the tight head prop. Halfback for the French is Romero. Had a huge impact in that first game up against New Zealand.
I was going to say, Mark, regular hooker Mo'u Moetau shifting into that number 8 position for Tonga.
Let's just have a look here. Who gets the shunt on? Put in quickly, the French, yes, pushing the Tongans back, looking for the arm, doesn't come, so they go out this time to the short side, plenty of space, happy to keep the ball in hand, and they put ball to boot. Not sure that was necessarily the best option, but trying to turn this flat Tongan defence around. And now it is Tonga, just a little bit starstruck at the moment, and now Labib Again, almost a repeat. Oh, big hit coming in on the hooker that time. I tell you what, Manon Leduc certainly felt that. But they've still got numbers. There's plenty of space. Tries to bring it back in the left wing. Monat. Brought to ground, so better defence from Tonga. Not committing players to the ruck. Happy to spread wide. France this time changing their tactics, just going one off the ruck. Now they look to go wide again. They've got space, they've got the overlap. A little show and go though, wrapped up, good tackle. Up to the right hand side, big long cutout pass, looking to cut back in. They're very good fullback, gets over the try and just too easy. And that was Marie Gorgu off the back of some brilliant work. Well, the platform set by the forwards. They drew the Tongan defence in, had the numbers, the big long cutout pass. Great vision from Marie Gorgu to step back inside. It is France leading 10 points to 0.
Yeah, you hit it pretty much on the head, Mark. Tonga looking a bit starstruck, and on the back of that, some very quick balls, some quick movement out to the space on the outside, and some great work from the fullback Gorgu. Once again, the French just playing at pace, just finding it. The Tongans just finding it a little bit too tough at the minute.
Well, they've got to hold on to the ball once the Tongans do get it, but they'll be concerned too from that first scrum because they were pushed off the mark. There's now Emma Cordu with the conversion attempt from this time the other side. She'll get a bit of a read on that win now. Does she make the adjustment? A very good goal kicker. And just pulls it short to the right hand side of the uprights, or her left hand side, as we just go back here on the replay. Boy, you go back to the days of the great men's French backs of yesterday, Philippe Salah, the likes.
Real feature too from the French in this opening 6 minutes or so has been their passing, just hitting the chest. So all those passes are really accurate at this stage, and it's done at pace as well.
Yep. So Hala Api looking to try, and this time let's not just kick deep. Let's just first and foremost get the kick off right. Didn't find the 10 metres on the previous restart, and this time does go longer. They just need to somehow find a way to keep the French down in their own half. And just somewhat of a slightly awkward pass, and that time just going through the hands of the lock, Justine Gasparon. And one thing France need to be careful is they've got to make sure they still maintain their structure. It's very easy, you suddenly find yourself up 10 points to 0, things can start to just get a little bit loose.
Yeah, first instinct from Gorgu was to run, but unfortunately the pass just wasn't in the breadbasket on this occasion after we'd give them a little bit of a rap for their passing. So you're dead right, it's something that France will have to watch. But on saying that, first opportunity for Tonga.
Yeah, scrum half is Tonga Tuaki. Very, very good halfback too. Just a try-scoring machine. You talk about the big number 8 possibly going off the back in Moanga Mohatau, but don't be surprised if the halfback ends up in that role too, Tuiaki, but they're going to want to get it in and get it out because the French are driving. The arm goes out, does it? No, they allow play on, but yeah, under advantage. And so the French scrum doing a bit of a demolition on the Tongans, going to need to make some adjustments. Boy, they're good, aren't they, the French? It just shows it's not about size at scrum time, it's the technical side of it, it's that body position, it's that core strength.
The French started very well against New Zealand a few days ago in their first game, and they're doing exactly the same again today. And it is an area that Tonga will have to address as we look at the scrum again. You can see the pressure coming through from the loose head prop Ludek, but you can guarantee on the other side Labib would have been doing her bit as well.
Yeah, Tonga need to challenge at line out time too, but a little bit messy, but they do retain possession. Looking to come off the back is the very impressive Audrey Baru. Now, they go onto the short side, decide to kick, find plenty of open space there at the back. Fullback for Tonga today is Meli Akolo. She returns the favour. Be careful though, kicking to an open side, and here come the French looking to run, the little show and go. Lovely little piece of running there from Stephanie Monat. Back inside. Labib beats one, beats two. beats 3, gets the pass off, the little chip and chase through. Can Tonga get back? They can. Now, they need support because France arrived there in numbers. What does the referee say? Referee says play on. Looking to set. Hoping to go one off the ruck and just maybe provide a better angle at some point to try and clear, but they do need to get outside of their own half. It's better from Tonga, bringing their cleaners in, winning the breakdown. A bit scrappy at the moment. French over the top now, penalty. Does it come the way of the French? No, in fact it goes the way of the Tongans, so possibly just sealing off there from the French, off their feet. But better defensively from the Tongans. But again, the danger too, once again, we talked about it, is Labib, the big tight head prop for France.
Yeah, just listen, despite this, the way Tonga have started, they'd be happy that they've got their hands on the ball, put together a few phases, and just winning that infraction, that penalty at the breakdown against the French player for hands forward of the ruck.
And finds touch, so line out time. First opportunity for Tonga at the line out. They've certainly got height. You look at the two locks of Hipisipa Toili and Elise Quincel. They are two tall athletes. And we're seeing La'akulu, the hooker, thrown in for Tonga. See if the French challenge this. I'd imagine they will. I want to put pressure on Tonga. Yep, turnover to the French, and now they got big numbers. Set their back line nice and deep to try and create some space. Lovely little step in from Cerise Moulin in the number 13 jersey, the French centre. Quality player, but just a little bit of a handling error, a little bit of a knock on. So French trying to play with pace, and sometimes the byproduct of that, you can just force the pass. The knock-ons and the little errors creep in.
Yeah, much better defence there from Tonga on that occasion. Just got in the face of Moulin and just caused the error. But once again, we go back to that scrum set piece. Important that they get this right.
So 10 points to nil. Hope you are enjoying coverage of the International Defence Rugby competition. Tonga up against France. Across on the other field, we've got the New Zealand Defence Ferns, the New Zealand Women's Defence Team, taking on the combination side of Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea. And then following this game, televised, we will bring you Great Britain and Australia. Yeah, let's see what the French do here. Are they happy to get this? In fact, Tonga feed really just does need to get the ball underneath the hooker's feet here, get it out quickly. Bring in the big number 8, Mo'unga Mohatau. But another penalty goes the way of the French. Boy, they've got parity at scrum time.
Yeah, on that occasion, the Tongan front row just folded in. They really needed to keep their feet, despite they were going back. A lot of pressure coming through that tight five, but it's really important that the front row and the middle row keep their feet. Once you collapse, it's going to you're going to give away a penalty.
Yeah, Kudia, nice little touch finder too, halfway between Tonga's line and the 22. So throw into France.
Do you want me to follow the ball and then kick it out?
Breeze, just swirling breeze, almost a sort of a nor'easterly. So they go through Galato, their number 7. And now they look for the big more. Labib there, the big number 3. Still holding on to it. Tonga's got to be careful here. They've gone to ground. Arm goes out though. So playing under advantage the French. And now they look to drive. 1, 2, just short of the line, will be held up. Goes to ground. Screaming for the ball is the French halfback. Now the little chip across the other side. Showing some great enterprise here, but just too long. But they know they're under advantage. They'll come back. They'll come back for the penalty. But lovely piece of vision there from Emma Cordeau, looking for her fullback, Marie Gorguer, or her left winger, Stephanie Monet.
Cordeau showing that she's got all the tricks in the bag. Mark, initially some good work from the French. I thought Tonga a little bit unlucky because it looked like the French had taken that more down themselves, but the referee saw otherwise, and it's another opportunity and probably more of the same coming up.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It's become a big feature of the international game, a point where, you know, particularly in the men's game this year, Super Rugby, there was a lot of criticism that rugby had become a little bit one-dimensional from this position, but it's about winning games, and the French are very good on the technical side of it, so expect to see another rolling maul here, driving at the line. Me too, this time. Don't quite get the throw right, so they've gifted one back to Tonga. Can Tonga run out? And no, they've come back. They're going to play the scrum, play the knock-on.
Copy, Dave. Dave, can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us. I think we're on our own.
Back resetting.
Oh, Dave, can you hear us?
So throw into Tonga.
Oh, okay, we can barely hear you.
The hooker, La'akulu. And they were looking for their big jumper, Ipsipa Toali. But just like that, the French from the line out over. Third try for the French. Somewhat anticlimactic, but it's just the set piece at the moment that is just letting the Tongans down and allowing France the opportunity to continue to apply the scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, very important that if you are going to go to a set-piece play, which is what Tonga did, they opted for the line-out. Unfortunately, great work there from the 7, Galateau, getting up in front of the jumper, and it was the loosehead prop, Manon Ludic, who was rewarded with a good follow-up, picking up her try.
Yeah, going around the front of the line-out there from Ludic. So 15 points to nil, another difficult conversion for this quality first 5-8. Emma Cordeau. This time comes up just short, so just struggling a little bit on the distance at the moment, but it is France in control. 3 tries to nil over Tonga. 16.5 minutes gone in the first half. Hope you are enjoying coverage of the second day of competition in the International Defence Rugby competitions. 8 countries making up 7 teams, with Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu a combined team. Following this game, we will bring you Great Britain and Australia across the far field. We've got New Zealand taking on that combined Pacific Island team of Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea. We'll keep you updated on that score. But if you are around, we do encourage people in the Greater Auckland region, get yourself along to College Rifles, Central Auckland, and watch some exciting international rugby, because I really think that Australia-Great Britain game should be an absolute cracker. I still feel though, Steve, the longer this game goes, I think Tonga, can get back into this. I think they're just a little unsettled at the moment. Maybe the occasion might have just got the better of them.
Yeah, very, very much so. I agree. I think it's really important that they, first of all, keep their heads up, but secondly, believe in their processes as well. You know, they probably gave away an opportunity to scrum, and whilst they've probably been beaten in that scrums, I think you just got to get that process right and back yourselves, as opposed to straying away from the things that you're good at.
Well, yeah, look at the hooker here, the Akulu. She just needs to get that ball in quickly. She needs to get it underneath her hooker's foot. Let's just get it out, because the longer it stays in there, the greater opportunity that France are going to walk over the top. We know what great ball runners they've got out wide. Tonga just haven't really had the opportunity to get it out wide. Here's another look at that scrum. What does the referee say? No, we'll come back, we'll reset.
Boy, some big pressure on the right-hand side. Alabib really got under a marker on that occasion. Manua Fetoa went straight up. A little bit lucky not to be penalised, but referee asking these teams to reset again.
Yeah, and so big number 7 there for Tonga is Vaitue Kamanu.
Thought Vaitohi on this right-hand side did well on her hit, but beaten on the other side.
just struggling, aren't they? The loose head side at the moment, body position. Got to get a little bit lower, does Putsi Manu Fatoa. And now the French take the quick tap, Tonga back the 10, and they look to kick. They clearly want to play territory. They want to play in Tonga's half of the ground. A little bit of confusion here. Now Tonga in a bit of difficulty. Meli Akolo just slipping, but gets back to her feet. Good driving run from Akolo. We know how strong and powerful she can be. Now chance here for the Tongans. Can they use their big running backs? Handling errors have just let them down at key times at the moment. This is better though. Getting over that advantage line. France looking for the turnover. That's good tackling from the French, going low. Now the cleaners for Tonga do come in. No halfback though. France looking to walk back over the top. Bit of a knock on from the French, they play on. Now, have they got space out here to the left? That French defence up very, very flat. Be careful, France, they don't get themselves offside. Had a wee look, that's what the pressure does do. Referee, though, says we will come back, we will play the penalty. France, in fact, up offside, which is always the danger.
Yeah, good pressure on that occasion from the French, but Tonga decide to go quick.
Yeah. The old, what we used to say here in New Zealand with as a term of endearment with a smile on our face, the old Māori sidestep straight up the middle. That runs through into Tongan rugby as well. They love it physical, don't they? Sometimes the best route is the direct route. Pick and go, pick and go. So, to kick for touch, will they?
I thought France a little bit unlucky on that occasion at the breakdown. The feature was in the right position, but unfortunately the player that didn't roll away got done.
It's a good kick for touch too. Now, Tonga, another area where they just haven't quite clicked as that line out time. Really important if they can hit back here and score. What does that do in the context of this game? Rugby is often about momentum swings, but they really do need to beat the next try scorer. So La'akulu with the throw. She'll be looking for Queen Cell or Hipisipa Toali, the two locks. Toali has been the target this time. Another line out loss, and the French turn possession over, look to straighten it up through their very impressive Le Saulnier, playing at second 5'8". And now finding space, draw, pass, overlap here. Tonga scrambling. Misses the first tackle. France at times have been guilty of just kicking perhaps at the wrong time. Now chance here for the big Tongan backs to have a crack. They beat one, beat two, wrapped up in a good tackle. Just got to get a greater support at that breakdown area. Got to get their cleaners in. Make sure the French don't walk over the top. Now chance here for Tonga through their outside centre. Uhatahi back on the inside. Better play here from the Tongans, but turnover. France with the intercept. And the Tongans off their feet. And so it is France who will be rewarded with another penalty and an opportunity to kick themselves out of trouble. But Stephen Harris, much better from the Tongans.
Yeah, it's the best bit of play we've actually seen from the Tongans. They strung a few passes together and created a little bit of space down that left flank, but unfortunately just a wayward pass and maybe just the colour of the jerseys just finding the French player, and just unfortunately at that breakdown one player coming through, entering from the side.
Okay, so line out time to the French. Neither side have looked overly confident at line out time. This time, no. I'm not sure that is straight. Referee says no. Let's come back. It's not straight. Twisty know that the Tongans really didn't contest that line out.
on the lineup there. Yeah, she dummied and then went again.
Now they won't want to take a scrum here. Surely they just want to tap and go. No, they say let's have a scrum. Big call from the Tongans.
I think they've got to back their processes, but I think it's really important that there's front row, that they get their hit right. I think they may have already called the scrum.
No, they can't take a quick Referee says, look, come back. You've called a scrum. We've allowed you guys to go back and play the tap. Let's give the French an opportunity to get back their 10. Good refereeing. Good, nice interpretation too. Big barnstorming run coming from the tight head prop by Tohe. And now Tongans playing the way they like to play. That is direct. Manu Afatoa. The loose head prop. But French sealing off here, are they? No, comes back the way of the Tongans. Lovely little show and go from their very impressive halfback, Tuiaki. Gets well and truly across the advantage line, and France, well, not rolling away in the tackle. Quick tap here from Tonga. France surely not back the 10 metres. Great tackle though from the French hooker, Aniel. But yeah, playing never were back the 10. Now they're starting to look a little bit more like a sevens out for Tonga. Can they get across the French line? Come out to the left, big long cutout pass. Now look to straighten it up. Good barnstorming run from Manafatoa. But French, Tonga, off their feet. The tackle ball area, it's just these little lapses in discipline and concentration that are just stopping the Tonga momentum at key times.
Well, the two props, they might be struggling at scrum time. That's Vaitohi and Manuo Fetoa, but they're showing up a lot around the paddock, especially on the carry. But I think it's really important that the halfback Tonga, Tuiaki, takes control of this game.
Yeah, a lot more open running rugby. Again, just another little handling error. Just wonder whether that pass was on. The receiver there just a little bit in front of the ball carrier. Tell you what though, if they can keep the French out going at half time, 15-0 down, I think they can come out, certainly be more complete in that second half. But another attacking opportunity for the French. Don't be surprised here to see the big French number 8, Audrey Baru, possibly come off the back and combine nicely with the scrum half, Jody May Romero. Of course, the very impressive fly half, Emma Kudo, will be calling the shots. Hopefully not a major injury concern there for the Tongan fullback, Meli Akolo.
Yeah, just after she got the pass away, went down on the tackle and just took a little bit of a high shot. So it looks like they're just looking at her, maybe a wrist at the moment or a hand injury of sorts.
Yeah, good crowd that's slowly building up too. That side of the ground, this side where the cameras are. Really nice crowd beginning to build up. Always plenty of colour when the Tongans play. Local church communities in South Auckland, of course.
Kolo's still down. Certainly a player that they can't afford to lose. It's been great seeing her with ball in hand, but I thought there was a nice little offload that she got to one of her players before, just put down.
Yeah, really just want to wait, you know, it'd be nice if we haven't seen really a lot, have we, of their centre combination of Mele Mahe and Anne-Marie Huatahed. They are a very good combination, but just haven't really been given the opportunity in this game. I think what the French will realise very quickly is just don't give the Tongans room, don't kick. And France have got themselves into trouble when they have kicked to the back three of Tonga, and Tonga have been more than happy to run it out.
Defence World Cup. Current scores after 1-0 points 15 to France. On field 2, 28 points to New Zealand, and 0 points to the hybrid team Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu.
So on the far field, that is the defence ferns, who lead 38 points to 0 over the combined team of Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, who are a very, very young side, really just entering women's rugby, the pioneers for the future, setting the path for future members of the armed services and defence forces in that part of the world to use sport as a way of bringing unity together. Now France, they do go down the short side. Very impressive fullback, Marei Gorgu with the kick. The chasers come. Tonga do get back. Well played there by the left wing to Uakitau. Even the ball carriers for Tonga got to be just maybe a little bit more assertive in their running too, be a little bit more direct. Hit the French defenders front on. They tended to come in on a little bit more of an angle, making it easy for the French tacklers.
French putting a lot of pressure on it, back down. Good kick before from the fullback Gorgu, and just sort of weighted it quite nicely, and the French chase very, very good, putting a lot of pressure on the Tongans, and pressure is what they're going to have to face again with another scrum. Yeah,
to Akitau, the left wing for Tonga, did a good job of getting back to under all sorts of pressure. That's one thing Tonga have got to do. They've got to make sure that they've got support for the ball carrier. Need to win the battle up front, win the battle of the breakdown. So what can Tonga here do? Got to be careful. France can walk all over them automatically. Referee looks, but they do manage to clear this time. They're going to run it from their own line. This is where Tonga can be dangerous. Lovely little step. They do open it up now. Plenty of pace down this right-hand side of the field. France looking to drive through, going over the top, off their feet. And penalty goes the way of Tonga. Well done to Tonga. Under all sorts of pressure, they find themselves suddenly on their own 22-metre line. France deciding not to commit a lot of numbers at the breakdown. Tonga just happy to go one off the ruck at the moment, play the direct game. Good barnstorming run from Vaitoi Kamanu, the number 7. She's been very good all day.
A lot of penalties from the French just recently. The referee wants to have a word with the skipper about that.
Well, yeah, and this is one thing that France are going to need to have to adapt to too. Look, you are playing in New Zealand, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, every referee is going to interpret things slightly differently. We always hear about how the Northern Hemisphere referees see things slightly different than perhaps the Southern. And so, you know, when you are the travelling country, you do have to really early on get an understanding of how the referee is going to rule the breakdown particularly, and then adjust very, very quickly. And all you want from the referees is consistency across both teams, and I think we're getting that. So they look to tap, realising that there's no point going to scrum. Probably don't back their kicking game either into this breeze. Now the big barnstorming number 8, big powerful runner is Mo'unga Mohotau. This time though, not releasing.
It's a good play from the wing, Karaske, getting her hands on the ball. Perfect position, and Tonga unfortunately just not getting the cleaners there quick enough, but a good run from the number 8. First time we've seen her come into play. That's the number 8, Mo'unga Mohotau. He moved from that hooker position into the number 8. A good carry all the same.
Karaske, love the French names. Very, very good out there on the right wing. Always reminds you of the great French player Lagesque. Patrice Lagesque, certainly a big influence when I was growing up. Great now that we're seeing these names establish themselves in the women's game. A little bit of a knock on. Had a wee look at Ayla B, probably her first mistake so far. Or in fact, it might have been the loose-head prop, Manon Leduc. Just have a look here. Yep, Manon Leduc. Loose-head prop. interesting to see what the Tongan coaches do at half-time in regards to their forward pack, particularly at set piece. Because the French, who are certainly smaller in stature, through good technique, have dominated this aspect of the game. Another big scrum coming from the French, and the penalty will go the way of the French. And the high fives go all around to that front row of Le Duc, Soulier and A. Labib.
Yeah, Labib loving her time here in New Zealand. Very impressive in the first game against New Zealand. And once again, she's putting on a clinic on that tight head side of the scrum. It's been a long 32 minutes for Patsy Manua or Fetoa, but just those scrums you can see just packing a little bit high at times, and Alabib taking advantage.
So did the French maybe go around the front, go to the short side? They've been effective there earlier. No,
again.
Just another knock on. Same move, same player, same mistake.
This time goes up, we see Baru taking it in, pops the ball up nicely, player coming round, but unfortunately that pass was just really bobbed more at the chest as opposed to the hands or the breadbasket as we call it, hence the knock on.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it might have been a little bit tough there on Manon Le Duc. I think the pass was probably not in the breadbasket where she was hoping for it.
Just needed soft hands really, just a nice little layup.
There is Le Duc, the number 1. Coming up against her tight head prop, Afoa Faitohi. I think the damage has been done more on the other side with Aid Labib over Patsy Manu Orfatoa. Got to get it in real quick. That's better from Tonga, but again the French just pick it up. Did that actually go in? It came out, and now France before half-time looking to extend this lead. Oh, lovely little show and go. Some brilliant running here from the French, and just like that it will be another very good try to their left wing, Stephanie Monet. But the class and the quality of Cerise Moulin in centre, the number 13 jersey, just held it up beautifully. Great footwork, drew the defence in, and just like that, France score their 4th try.
Oh, once again, the importance of getting your set piece right. Unfortunately for Tonga, it goes awry. Nice little pick up there and run from the number 8, and a nice little offload there to the 13 Moulin. Some great little play. Saw a couple of bodies in front of her, created her own little space and set the winger. Stephanie Maini in for another try.
Yeah, Baru, the number 8, she read that play nicely. She almost acted then in that half-back role, didn't she? Just was lightning quick off the back of the scrum. Now, looking for the first conversion of the game is Emma Cordeau to take it out to a 22-0 lead over Tonga. And this time, has it got the distance? Then she does have the distance. And suddenly it is 22-0 over Tonga.
Now, really important for Tonga that they don't concede any more points before half-time. I think if they can get to half-time, have a little bit of a chat about what's going on, maybe some changes, that's what's required.
Yeah, well, it's really scrum that's costing them, isn't it, at the moment? Every time there's a scrum, they're either giving the penalty away or they're just turning possession over. And they don't want to be having to scrummage too close to the line. Line out, again, that's been wobbly at times. They've been best when it's been from broken play.
Currently looking for 4 volunteers. Come on down to the Navy tent for our half-time shenanigans. Get a prize. Don't be shy, come on down.
So, first 5 for Tonga is Hala Epe Ape. Yeah, we'll look to try and go long here. What do the French do? Will they look to run back, or do they look to put it into touch? It's where sides often get themselves into trouble, score the try, and then from the kick-off, don't clear, but that is a good kick. And so play will get back underway, just inside Tonga's half, with just under just over 3.5 minutes remaining in this clash of the day 2 of the International Defence Rugby competition. For Tonga, you just feel they just need a moment of inspiration, don't they, Stephen Harris?
Got to say that was a super exit from Cordeaux.
Go to the front of the line out. No, it says no knock on. Now chance, big long cut out pass. French defence get up flat, but get across the advantage line. Good run from the midfield from Mali Mahet. Another big barnstorming run now coming from La'akulu, the hooker. Yeah, just not enough pace in that pass and left a little bit flat-footed. And now just penalised again at the breakdown.
I was going to say Tonga just a little bit guilty of going to that short side where they're a little bit thin with numbers, cleaners, especially in France. Once again, have shown throughout this first half they're good over the ball.
Yeah, and expect to see this go close to the 22. I'm not sure that we'll see the rolling maul from here, or will we? It'll be interesting to see how Tonga set up defensively. Do they contest the line out? Tauli, Queen Cell, big tall locks for Tonga. No, they don't bother contesting it. They just set up defensively here. Now, the French looking to just keep the ball. Starting to move this Tongan pack around. Good driving maul from France. Tonga just need to get lower in their body position. Referee says no. The arm goes out though, so they're playing under advantage. The quick tap now, the big long pass out to the side. They've got plenty of space. Another very good run coming from the French backs, but good pick up. Knock on. Referee says no. Let's come back. Let's play the scrum. So just over a minute remaining in the first half. Yeah, maybe the inside centre there for France, Le Soniat, looked to sort of cut back in and run more direct. I mean, perhaps she did have the likes of Karaske and Gorgu running on her right-hand side.
Yeah, there he goes. There. We just see the mistake on the back of some very good play from the French, and I've got to say that was very French mark to maul it about 20 odd metres, get the penalty, and then take a quick tap. I thought they would have kicked it to the corner, but you can never second guess it, can you?
Now it's no good. Tongan player down injured at the moment, so there will be just a stop in play.
Really, really important that Tonga don't concede any more points before half-time. 22-0, you could arguably say they're still in the contest, but concede another try, and it's a long, long hill to climb.
Yeah, interesting surface to play on, artificial turf. All weather. It's a very big open ground, so it's the wider dimensions, the maximum dimensions you can have on a rugby ground, but it does take some adjustment for the players. Can just give you what we affectionately call the odd carpet burn if you're not careful. And the best way of avoiding that is don't get tackled.
Don't get tackled, stay on your feet.
Move the ball around.
Speaking of staying on your feet, I think for Tonga, I think it's really important that their forwards, when they are carrying, try and keep their feet as long as they can. There are times they're going to ground a little bit too early.
So the game on the outside field, we've got the New Zealand Defence Ferns taking on a combination team of Papua New Guinea Vanuatu. It's a wonderful initiative, this, isn't it, to have the defence forces come together and play an international competition. This is the first one. They're going to be held every 4 years. I think you will end up seeing a World Cup status added to it. But I mean, what a cool profession, and we encourage people in the armed service, young people watching this, or people who are not sure what to do for a career, come in, get paid, play sport,
Oh.
get an opportunity to play sport at the highest level at an international level, not just in rugby, but across a number of different sports. And the other part of this is what a great way for the region to come together and share their knowledge and share their expertise and that camaraderie, because the Defence Services clearly do a wonderful job right around the world.
Yeah, and I think for Armed Forces, they're just creating their own little piece of history as well. You mentioned before Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, their first time at this competition, young, new side, and they'll look back in the years to come, and they'll probably be pretty much looked upon as one of those. As a group that basically were the starters for rugby in those two particular countries. But I think it's also great that it's running at the same time as the Women's Rugby World Cup. I know a lot of these teams made their way out to Eden Park for the opening day on Saturday to support their respective teams, and I just think it's a great thing.
And of course, when we talk about the Defence Services, in fact they have just called half-time due to that injury break, so it is officially now half-time. It is France leading Tonga 22 points to 0, and so they'll be looking to possibly ring the changes or certainly take some of the guesswork out, some of the observations from both the coaching staffs. But I just want to say, just back to the Defence Forces, 3 choices, of course, the Navy, the Air Force and the Army. Hope you are enjoying coverage. Let's bring you some highlights from the first half.
Here we go, 1 down, 2 to go, nice through. 2 more. Oh, close.
And there will be no surrender. You know that this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know this right here forever. I am receiving a legacy. I am the one that they paid us. Got something to say to me, say. You know I've been waiting for patiently. This is my legacy. Not overleaning the waves. Basically, I have been running things. Keep this going and take us a year. Loving the enemy, with that and everything. Not on my level. You can be the enemy. This is the plan that we showing them anyway. Hit up the lawyers and give them the NDA. Woo! This is the brand new. This is the brand new. Nothing you can't do. Nothing you can't do. And there ain't no thing that you'll be taking from me. Man, they can't put nothing made it. Something named is buzzing. Call me Ryan Gosling. Ain't gonna know that they gonna love me more when I'm gonna retire the throne. The kind of things that I'm gonna be feeling like a god, because this is forever. And there will be no surrender. You know that this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know this right here forever.
Even in the attacking zone, Elia Kolo is good at the back, always showing a bit of enterprise. Just made far too many mistakes. Some good support for the Kingdom of Tonga here at College Rifles on a beautiful morning. French be in for their 3rd try. Once again, some great ball movement, some outstanding work from Moulin. Held the ball up nicely, got the pass away. Good on.
Wonderful highlights of the first half of this Day 2 clash of the International Defence Rugby competition between Tonga in the red and the might of France. It is France at the moment who lead comfortably over a Tongan team who struggled in that first 10 minutes, but since then have showed a little bit more cohesion. One area where they'll need to get greater parity is certainly at scrum time. We do encourage people, if you live in the Auckland region, to get along to College Rifles. Big game coming up later on this afternoon between Great Britain and Australia. The first time that we will see both teams on the live stream. Australia beaten up badly on day 1 by a very, very good Fiji inside. So it'll be fascinating to see whether or not they can improve on that performance, push Britain, and we'll find out whether Fiji might just simply be exceptional. It is just a wonderful tournament, and again, we do welcome everybody in from around the world. No mate, hardy mate, Bicky mate, kaki mate. A big bonjour to those in France, a big g'day mate to those in Australia, and I will throw the big Pacific Island welcomes over to you, Stephen Harris.
Thanks for that, Watto. I think you pretty much covered all the countries that are viewing this fantastic coverage through Pacifica TV, our second day of the International Defence 15s. Of course, 8 countries involved, but 7 teams here, and it's the second half coming up shortly. We're looking forward to what should be an interesting second half. Of course, the French dominating the first half. Tonga with not a lot of ball, but it's important that they get their structures and set pieces so they can get themselves into this contest.
So Mo Anga Mohitau, the big number 8 for Tonga, fly half, who we just haven't really seen get involved in this game. Hala Api Ape. Halfback Tonga Tuiaki. Like to see Tuiaki maybe play a little bit wider. Almost maybe come in and play on the loose a bit, because when she's got ball in hand, she certainly is a class act. And so Tonga get play back underway, second half. France happy to let the ball bounce, and they immediately, French, look to go up that left-hand side, but foot into touch, so line out will go to Tonga.
See a change for Tonga. Coming is Emma Portofa into that hooking position in the 16.
Yep, Portofa replacing La'akulu. This time better from the Tongans, but not straight as the call. So they'll come back, they'll play the scrum, and this has been an area where the French just have had complete and utter dominance through that first 40 minutes. So what instructions have been given to the Tongan forwards at half-time? Body position is one thing, they just need to get a little bit lower. That is better from the Tongans, much better scrum. Now, France looking to play wide, looking for space. They use it nicely, lovely little step back in. Boy, quality player, isn't she? The fullback, Marie Gorgu. Little drawn pass, happy to hold the ball, lovely little interplay once again, that time between Baru and the outside centre Moulin. Oh, big hit, no arms in the tackle. That was the call from the referee, and now the penalty comes. Either that or up offside, one of them, but boy, big tackle.
Well, Tonga looking for a bit of inspiration, and they get it there from another one of their replacements, Akanesi Pohiva, with the big shot, but unfortunately no arms in the tackle.
Crowd loved it though, I loved it. Marginal. Referee might have actually just said Tonga were up offside, which French have play a very flat defence, and maybe that is the message for the Tongans, get up a bit flatter, a bit more urgency. So back to Arnel, the French hooker. Julien Arnel. And Messi again. Advantage. Knock on, I think that was a call from the Tongans, so they're playing under advantage for the knock on for French. So Romero, the halfback. Big running, charging run coming from Gasparo. Showing plenty of mobility. The French forwards, they're tight 5. Romero pleading for it. Penalty does come. Tonga sealing it off. Not rolling away in the tackle. And quick little tap. Now, numbers. Now the big barnstorming prop out there on the right-hand side. Taken into touch, but that's a good run from Manon Leduc. The ball carrying front row of Leduc. They are wrecking balls, but injury to Manon Leduc.
Yeah, some good defence there from Haisini Tio, getting across and making the tackle. Not much to her, and she had to make a good tackle and a decisive tackle on the big prop Ludek. It's Ludek that looks like she's come off second best. Good start to the second half from Tonga though. It looked a little bit more solid at set piece, a little bit more enthusiasm with the injections off the bench as well.
Yeah, just again, we've got to talk about it. They just can't give this French backline too much room. They've got to get up. They've got to make sure they're up flat, but also make sure they know how to slide if need be. French are happy to cut back inside. They will use their centre combination of La Saulnière and Moulin, who are not afraid to cut back and straighten it back up. And then, of course, their very impressive Marie Gorgu, their fullback, as we just have another look here. Big barnstorming run. Tongans just need to get a little bit lower in the tackle. That occasion it was Haisini Q, who might have just been a little bit guilty initially of going too high. Hopefully the French loose-head prop Manon Leduc is okay. Might have just taken a little bit of a stinger. Anytime you get the French, you just love the way the French play rugby, don't you? And then anytime you get the Pacific Island countries, you just know there's going to be that level of physicality, and it's everything that rugby should be. It's a wonderful spectacle. Hope you are enjoying coverage. France leading Tonga 22 points to 0. And this time they go to the short side. Lovely little move at the front, but referee says no, not straight. But the intent is good intent. Now, quick tap here from France. They look to straighten it up, go through their big ball carrying tight head prop. Labib, but turnover from Tonga. And they somehow managed to get themselves out of danger, but they haven't found touch. Now, this very good French backline, Gorgu, the fullback, finds her right wing in Karaskate. But another knock on both ways. It'll be Tongan scrum.
Yeah, some good work from Tonga to turn that over on that occasion. Not too sure what they did there, and they cleared it, but unfortunately didn't find touch. But some good defence turning over the ball again, and an opportunity to clear their line.
Yeah, good crowd beginning to build up too. Plenty of activity. You've got the Australians warming up to our right-hand side. We've got New Zealand, the Diamond. I was going to say the Diamond Blacks. I was thinking baseball, but of course we are talking the Defence Ferns. Halfback for France, Ramiro. And interesting playing at halfback, and the number 14 is Haisini Chu. So originally on the right wing. And hopefully that means that frees up Tonga Tuiaki, who's such an impressive player but just hasn't been able to inject herself into this game. We saw in the first scrum of the second half a much improved scrum coming from the Tongans. It'll be interesting to see this one, whether in fact there is legitimacy in that change and in that improvement.
Yeah, just needing to pack a little bit lower at scrum time, although we see an injury here to one of the Tongan players. I hope it's not too serious, but we'll wait to see what eventuates from here on out. But we've seen some good improvement from the Tongans in the second half. Of course, the French, that's an aspect where a lot of European teams are so good at scrum time. But initially we've seen the Tongans, you can see the scoreboard in the background as well. The French still leading by the halftime score of 22 points to 0. Just trying to get a sighter on the player that's down on the ground at the minute. That might be Vaitohi, who the one of the trainers is just looking at this occasion.
And New Zealand there, you can see in the background, the College Rifles is the home team, so the Defence Ferns comfortably up over Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, 81 points to 0. So just an opportunity to give some of the wider squad some game time, because things are going to heat up. Friday this week, Wednesday next week, before you eventually find out who our 2 finalists are. We've seen a number of injuries, haven't we? Hopefully nothing too serious. It's a gladiatorial game, it's not for the faint-hearted. You've got a nice Pacific flavour here too going on in regards to the atmosphere at College Rifles. You're always going to get it with the Tongans. Tell you what, I'm curious to see the Australians play. Absolutely monstered. 78 points to 0 by Fiji. It wasn't 78 points to 0, was it? Sorry, we'll bring you that official score. My apologies. I was thinking about the France, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu game. But somewhat of a surprise, but do not underestimate the might of the Fijians. They place a big emphasis on their military and their defence services, and a big part of that in Fiji is sport, and particularly 7s and 15s. So, not too far away from hopefully getting play back underway. And so just a bit of a chat there from our referee. Some of the entertainment. So another chance here to have a look at this Tongan scrum at the second half. Oh, much better from Tonga. France looked to try and push over the top, but Tonga just held their own. Now, got to find a way of exiting here, getting themselves out of trouble. French again up very, very flat. Referee says play on. Yeah, good clean out from Tonga this time, bringing in their cleaners. But the scrum goes the way of the French. So, not releasing. Wow, that's discipline that'll be frustrating the Tongan coaches. That time it was their number 5, Alisi Quincel.
Yeah, initially some good work from Tonga to actually clear from that scrum. But once again, good rush defence from the French made it difficult at breakdown, and they've given themselves a wonderful attacking position, only about 10 metres or so out from the Tongan line. So once again, the pressure will come on from this French scrum. But I've been impressed with the way Tonga have actually started in and around this aspect of the game.
Yeah, how did the French play this one? They use their very impressive number 8 off the back, Audrey Barou, in combination perhaps with Pauline Galatote, the number 7. They've had quite set moves from line-out time. But a much improved Tongan scrum this time though, getting pushed off the ball, and they will come out to their right-hand side, happy to put it through the hands. Starting to just look a little bit too easy. Good defence this time, beats 1, beats 2. Gagu still in possession. Can they hold her up? Can they force this to become a maul? No, they don't. Referee says tackle. Now, the left-hand side. Bringing in their big boppers, their big runners. Out and out to the left. They've got numbers if they can just shift it, and just like that, France score their 5th try of this match, and it's through their hooker. And now, off the back of some very good work, a patient build-up, they brought their forwards in. They were happy to straighten up at times.
Oh, too much time. Some great work here from the French. Beautiful ball movement. It's purely French what you're watching here. All the passes hitting the player, moving at pace, but that's on the back of some very, very good work from their forward pack. Getting the try, and the try scorer there,
What is it
Neil, getting across the line.
Sorry, Steve, what is it with hookers these days hanging out on the wings? I mean, I always thought the hooking position, but Sean Fitzpatrick, the great New Zealand captain, seemed to almost change the game, isn't it? It's like, I'll get a little bit tired, I'll just hang out wide and I'll act as a wing 3/4. Maybe somebody needs to score for the forwards.
Started a trend.
27 points to nil, kick to come from Emma Cordeaux. And good kick, but just well short. And so, 27-0.
Conversion astray. France 27, Tonga 0. Hope you're enjoying this coverage on Pacifica TV, no matter where you are around the world, or indeed around the Pacific.
Well, really, it's just the first 15 to 20 minutes where Tonga are just hammered by the French. Since then, they've had a lot more parity. They've been in the contest a lot more. I do sense that they haven't clicked yet. Something special is going to come from the Tongans, so don't go away, folks. And now, dangerous here from the Tongans. France getting there in numbers. Tonga happy to reset. The arm goes out, so playing under advantage Tonga. Again, good carry from Vai Tuikamanu, the number 7 for Tonga. Back in the action again. Can they break down this French defence? Happy to go direct, happy to play it through their forwards, their big ball carriers. Now, do they look for touch or do they look to just tap and go?
If there will be a slight disappointment for the French coach, Nicolas Bonnet-Perron, it's just a number of penalties that France have given away in this contest. You know, maybe it's probably is all about interpretation or understanding the rules, but you know, you'd probably be thinking they've given away opportunities to pile on more points in the red zone.
And Tonga don't find touch, can't be doing that at this level of rugby. Now the big long sweeping pass, looking for space out onto the left hand side. Wayward from both teams, now straightens it up, the fullback for France, Gorgu, but they will come back, they will play the knock on, and Tonga do get themselves out of trouble. You've got to kick for touch, you've got to find touch. Mind you, you are kicking into, you're kicking for touch and you're kicking to the bottom of your screen, that side of the field. The side the cameras are on, you are basically kicking into a little bit of a headwind. So bringing more changes, Tonga. So tune with the feed. And they'll come back, free kick. They take it quickly, France, as we've seen all morning. Looking for the little chip. No, beats it on the outside, steps on the outside, steps back in. Can she find the support? Good run coming from Karasuke. Good defence from Tonga. Penalty though.
Very cynical
And
penalty.
I think we're going to go to the pocket, are we? High in the tackle is the call, I think. Just getting instructions from their TMO, from their assistant referees.
Tongan player. Very, very fortunate not to be sent to the bin, I've got to say, Mark.
So Cordo, she'll have that breeze behind her. And she puts it into touch, so play will restart halfway between Tonga's goal line and the 22. And what are we expecting here, Stephen Harris? The driving maul, and then out to their electric backs. It's very much been the flavour of this French team throughout the morning.
We'll look at this again. Once again, just keep an eye on number 18 for Tonga.
Yeah, cynical.
Kasanita Kaiho, very, very fortunate to be still on the paddock.
So they go to Galato at line out, the loose forward. Blind side, open side flanker. Tonga just got to get better body position here. Now the French, they do look to come wide. Looks to straighten it back up. Cordo wrapped up in a couple of big tackles. They come to the left. Oh, another big hit. Great tackle coming in from Tonga. Wow, crowd loving that. And now walking over the top, but the penalty comes. Offside. Now I think we're going to see a yellow card maybe. We are. So just discipline letting Tonga down at key moments now. Have been warned by the referee. Oh, look at that big tackle on Emmeline Louvet. Wearing the number 24, France. Smashed in midfield. Chance here for France to really drive this one home. They will go to Galato, the tall open side. They do go to Galato, and immediately rolling round is the flanker Sinige. And off the back, too easy for her second try. It is the hooker, Sulia Anel. Well, you just wonder whether fatigue's just starting to kick in with this Tongan side at the moment, because that just all looked a little bit too easy. Of course, they were down a player after the yellow card, but France just again showing their dominance when it comes to set piece, when it comes to this driving maul.
Yep, really far too easy for France on that occasion. Galato, well, she's been the dominant figure at a line-out time, their go-to person. They went straight to her again, and of course, if you hang around at the back of the maul long enough, as most good hookers do, NAL going in for her second try, and it was all too easy. A little bit of a concern that the floodgates may open after that yellow card.
Well, you've got to make sure you do have defence around the fringes, don't you, of any sort of attacking play, and if it's going to be in the forwards, you've got to make sure your half-back's acting almost as a loose forward in defence. This time the conversion is successful, so does France, that now lead by 34 points to 0 over Tonga. Big game coming up following this. Looking forward to what Australia take on Great Britain. Very much the battle of the ashes. I can tell you the defence ferns leading Papua New Guinea Vanuatu by 96 points to 0. France leading Tonga 34 points to 0 with just over 20 minutes remaining in the second half. They get play back underway. Immediately French decide to just take ball in hand and run it. Oh, another big shot coming in from the Tongans. Great tackle once again. Boy, some absolute bone crunches. Great stuff. France, though, go through their very impressive lock. Angeline Viardot, who's come on as a replacement. And now Gaspereau acting at halfback for France. Oh, she's a lovely little runner, the centre, Cerise Moulin. Happy to keep it alive. Better hands now from the French. Great cohesion. Really starting to get that understanding between them. And Tonga having to get back quickly. Happy to play at pace. Perhaps feel that the Tongans might just be out on their feet. Lovely little chip through. Oh, this could be one of the great tries of the tournament. Oh, it just doesn't quite get the bounce, but lovely enterprise. And you do have to feel for the outside back, Magu Ovanat, who almost scored a try. Takes you back to the days of, well, Bernie Fraser, when they'd always put the chip in for the great All Black wing. Of course, it became known as Bernie's corner because he scored so many tries from that type of play back in the days of Athletic Park in Wellington. It's lovely to see the little chip through for the outside backs, just turn the defence around, particularly if it's up flat.
That's probably one of the best sweeping movements we've actually seen on the second day of this defence tournament. And once again, some of the handling and the offloads, passes just popped up perfectly, and boy, they put themselves in a really, really good attacking position, although it is a throw into the Tongans.
Yeah, so Patofa with the throw-in, need to win this. They go short, it's better from Tonga. Now, looking to run it from their own line, doing a bit of a France on the front on the French, saying if you guys want to do it, we'll do it. Who was the great Frenchman that scored the try from the end of the world in '94? The last time the All Blacks lost at Eden Park, they went the full length of the field to win that series, didn't they? Breeze just starting to pick up. So not a lot of distance on the kick, but more importantly, they have found touch. Interesting adjustment from the Tongans. The last line out, we saw them go to the front, keep it simple. I mean, the further the ball has to travel, the greater chance it has of.
I think wherever they're throwing it into, Mark, it's important that they get it away from Pauline Galato, who's been such a thorn in their side, just getting in front of the Tongan jumper at times.
Bring it in.
They just went short on that occasion. It's great to actually see the innovation, but just not getting the throw accurately or straight.
Yeah, one of the big challenges for all of these Defence Force teams is that they are combined services, so Army, Navy, Air Force. They've got to bring them together, they've got to get them to gel. You know, you add the travel factor in. And it's all very well doing it in training, but you've got to do it on game day in a real game experience where the defence is going to be at times awkward. It's going to be at times a little abstract. So Jodie May Romero, the halfback, with the feed to the scrum. The classy number 8, Audrey Barrow there, getting herself set. In fact, Barrow's moved to the side of the scrum.
On behalf of the biology team, we'd like to thank New Zealand for the fight. Thank you for the officials for today, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to play.
The game just starting to lose its shape a little bit. I was saying the one thing that I think is really enjoyable about the women's game of rugby is you just don't get the scrum resets like you get on the men's side. The game's a lot faster flowing.
For Vanuatu, the White Dogs, Sophia Mongra.
So feeding the scrum for Tonga will be Haisini Chu. We just haven't seen Tonga Tuiaki, have we? The number 9 really get involved in this game, and we just know how dynamic she can be. But the French clearly have done her homework on it.
I do wonder if she might be carrying an injury.
So another good scrum from the French, but Tonga do manage to get it out this time. Can they run it from outside of their own 22? Good decision making. Holds the ball up, doesn't throw the pass. Now, this is where they can catch the French napping. They've got plenty of speed and pace out wide, Tonga. Pass it back on the inside, but the French defence very flat up in their face. They turn possession over and they'll turn defence to offence, will they? Are we going to see another try? We will this time to the big lock. Angeline Viardo for France. Came on in that second half. Well, Tonga showing plenty of enterprise, but unfortunately for them, just handling them down. The French defence up very, very flat, and just like that, they extend the lead to 30.9 points to nil with the kick to come.
Yeah, what was noticeable in that movement, the ball went wide to Tonga, but unfortunately not a lot of numbers out there and not a lot of players. Probably that a little bit thin on that right-hand side, and it was the French who capitalised on the mistake just by purely having more numbers around the breakdown. And of course, it's the 18, Angeline Vidor, coming through and picking up the 5-pointer, another Tongan player down. So I just wonder that numerical advantage. Tonga's still down to 14 players. They have their 15th player back on the paddock shortly, but they've certainly paid a high price for having a player off the field.
Over, so brilliant piece of goal kicking from Emma Cordo.
Version successful.
Another Tongan player down. Victory for the Tongans. Such has been the physicality, such has been this rushing. So another injury for the Tongans. It's been physical up front. French have got up nice and flat at times and have forced the Tongans around the field, and you do wonder, Stephen Harris, whether we're now starting to see perhaps the fitness levels just starting to have an influence on this game.
Yeah, very much so. I think also the pace of the game, the speed in which the French team have played, just the offloads, a little bit more movement. You know, something that we actually didn't see from the Tongans against Papua New Guinea. While they were very, very impressive that game, they played in very narrow channels without moving the ball too wide. So a big 27 minutes or say last quarter coming up for this Tongan team.
Yeah, it'd be great to see the Tongans, see if they can score. There's a good large contingent of Tongan supporters here in the ground. Of course, there is the Tongan royal family as well, and we do welcome Prince Ata, Prince Tui Pelehake, and the Crown Princess Sine Takala. There's the French. Happy to play the direct route initially before coming out wide. Big overlap here now. They've got plenty of pace. Can they use their classy outside backs? Good scrambling defence from Tonga though. Really good run though coming from Margot Avionnet, the French replacement winger. But Avionnet just getting put into touch. Better defence from Tonga. Scrambling defence, but got across nicely.
Gee, once again, some beautiful passing there. The passes out in front of the players. Avionnet with a little bit of space, but good cover defence from the Tongans on this occasion, getting some numbers across.
It's our chance here now for Tonga. We have seen them go to the front of the line out. They realise the danger, as you've pointed out previously, Stephen, of Pauline Galateau, the number 7 for France. Big rangy figure in the middle of the line out. So they go short again. Yes, they do. They go to the front this time. They do find their target, but it's just off that second phase that the error comes, and they turn the advantage back over to the French after a lot of very good work.
Yeah, been a problem for Tonga all day. The pass is just really not finding the hands of players in the right positions. Once again, quite a good little bit of innovation off the front of the line out, but opportunity wasted.
They go long. Oh, this time the French can't handle it, so the knock-on advantage goes the way of Tonga. We'll come back, we'll play the scrum, because there was a knock-on both ways. And now Tonga, they want a really, really good scrum here. They've been improved at set piece in the second half, but no means perfect. But they need to either run or kick their way out of danger here. They need to exit from this part of the field. somehow try and play the game inside the French half. And you just look at the quality. We've got Clemens Ripon, who has now come into that number 8 position in the number 19 for France. Gagu has come in at halfback, replacing Romero. So that's an interesting change. A fullback becomes a halfback.
There's a lesson here for anybody if you are struggling at scrum time. It's really important that you don't fold in or don't go down. Just keep your structure straight, even if you are going backwards, as long as you can actually quickly heel that ball back to your number 8 as quick as you can.
Yeah, you've got to just basically stay strong through the legs, don't you, through your quads. Just keep that, you know, like anything, solid tree trunk, you know, core strength really important. We've seen some really, really big teams get pushed around by smaller teams because of their technical nous. That's better though from Tonga. They do get out of trouble. Not a great pass. Another poor pass picked up by the French. I think a little knock on maybe. Yep, little knock on from the French. So Tonga, just when they're passing out to that from left to right, just struggling a little bit in terms of the delivery.
Once again, we actually just saw a really good example. Even though the Tongan scrum was under pressure, they actually maintained their structure, even though they were going back and were able to clear the ball. But once again, just the passes, just not accurate. So fortunate to get another scrum.
So you can see the score in the background. Likes to see the visitors score a try against the defence Ferns, 96 points to 5. That final score, the defence Ferns, the New Zealand team, running out winners over Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea. No mai, haere mai, piki mai, kaki mai. Welcome into Aotearoa, Tamakomakoro, Auckland City. If you have just joined us, wherever you are watching this around the world, appreciate your company. Hope you are enjoying coverage of the first ever International Defence Rugby competition, as we see Tonga looking to exit, get themselves out of trouble, and they find touch this time outside of their own 22. .22 points to nil at half time for France. It has been a much improved performance though. In the back half of the first half and into the second half for Tonga, and I think they've got a lot that they can build on. As we see the French now, this time they go through their finissage. Big, strong, busting run. This time puts the Tongan defender on her back. And now the French, they've got numbers, have they? No, cuts back inside. Good defence from Tonga, forcing the French to cut back inside. Another really good run coming from Karaskate. They'll go out to the left, space out to the left. Big, another driving run coming from Emily Louvet. Draw and pass. Good defence from Tonga, but beats the tackler this time. Frogier. Short of the line though. They get there in support, France. Looking to go the short side, and their brilliant fullback, once again, Gorgo, scores another French try. Playing the 15-man game, playing the game the way William Webb Ellis had dreamed of it being played. They're good, the French. Set the platform up front, and then use their electric backs. Tonga, well, superb in terms of sliding, getting across, but in the finish they just simply ran out of numbers.
Well, Gorgu, she'll be the recipient of that particular try, but she'll be patting her forwards on the back, especially the likes of replacement lock-loose forward Clemence Ripon, who basically did her impersonation of Jonah Lomu. If you're not going to tackle me, I'm just going to run straight over you. And she gave him the go forward for what turned out to be a brilliant try.
Well, it's interesting, when Jonah Lomu came along, they thought, how do you tackle this guy? So they went to Jonah Lomu's much, much younger brother. He said, easy, go round the ankles. And I'm not sure that it's changed, has it? Now the very impressive first 5-8, Emma Cordo looking to try and extend this lead out to 48 points to nil. Kicked a conversion from a similar position earlier. Certainly had the direction, didn't quite have the distance though. So with just over 6 minutes remaining. It is France leading Tonga 46 points to 0. Hope you are enjoying the coverage. We do encourage people too, if you are watching this, you're inspired by what you see, get involved. Look at the Defence Forces as a career, whether it be the Army, the Navy, and of course the Air Force. Hey, why not have a career when you can get paid to pay sport?
Well, you can't beat a career in the service, as I say.
Well, great discipline, isn't it?
Oh, great opportunity to see the world.
Particularly if you're a youngster. And so the kick-off for Tonga will come from the utility forward, Emma Pautafa. Don't often see a forward kicking off, but Pautafa, very good exponent of the reset. But the French automatically use that breeze that's continued to shift all day and return the favour, and suddenly find themselves camped just outside of Tonga's 22.
Superb exit from the French team. It's an exit many teams will be proud of that don't always do that well.
No, how often do you see it? You score a try at one end and then from the kick-off you give the penalty away and suddenly the 5 points you've scored has been reduced to 2 because your opponent's kicked the 3. And so it's a big focus for teams exiting from the kick-off after you have scored. Now to Tonga again go to the front of the line out. And what have France done? They do. So it's another short line out, but getting driven back this time. Always hard for a back line when your forwards are going backwards. Good driving run here from Tonga. This is better. Now the support comes. Lovely little pick and go. Driving straight up the middle. The big number 19. Fama Havakoya. So, hands on the ground, so the fetcher for France, not using their body weight to hold their balance, using their hands, and so the penalty goes the way of the Tongans. Just like to see the Tongans, when they do run up, just get slightly better body position, just tending to run a little bit too upright, but they'll come out now. That French defence up very, very flat. Maybe you'd just like to see them maybe just put that little kick through and look to turn the French backs around. Another big bustling run coming from a Tonga Tuiaki. In fact, the number 19 for Tonga, my apologies, it is Pauhiva. And now France take the tap quickly, still under advantage for the French. They'll look to just straighten it up. Lovely little interchange, great play from the French. Space out to the right hand side, the short side if they wish to go there, but they go to the left. Lovely little step, good play from France. Through the hands, cuts back on the inside. The Tongan defence just can't get across. And once again, it is the very impressive Karasuke on the right wing for France, who dots down and takes that lead out to 51 points to 0. Once again, France playing the 15-man game. Lovely little step, lovely little shimmy from their inside back, Frogier. Just through the defenders, and then you probably just got to say, well, some pretty average defence, allowing the French to get over and score yet another try, Stephen Harris.
Oh, beautiful to watch from this very, very classy back division from the French in the second half. Well, they've looked classy, and when they've pulled it off, they've pulled off some beautiful tries, just like we've seen at this very, very moment. And once again, all the passing accurate. I like the nice little steps in between times as well. Class all around, and they're finishing this game in style.
So it is France leading Tonga 51 points to 0. We will get reaction from inside the camp as the kick comes this time. A little bit more power in the kick, but just loses the direction. So 51 points to 0 is the score. Don't go away, folks, because we will bring you live coverage of Great Britain, Australia next, here on day 2 of this International Defence Rugby competition. Live from College Rifles here in Auckland. So Pautifa, let's get play back underway. Referee says it hasn't gone the 10, so they'll come back. France say, yep, we'll take the scrum on halfway. So just another little unforced error, but that's what happens when fatigue does kick in. But a lot to like about Tonga. There has been some really positive rugby being played. Just really, in scrum time, France have just been dominant. France just, maybe just a little bit, have superior fitness levels. Also, you got to remember that a lot of these French players either play professionally or semi-professionally in France. So they get that regular competition where for the Pacific Islands, a lot of this is still about emergence. It's still about pioneering in women's rugby in their countries. Much better scrum though from Tonga this time. France though, go back through the hands, cut out pass, lovely little decoy runner. This time, however, can't hold on to the ball, and Margot Avinet will be somewhat disappointed with that. So time almost up on the clock. So can Tonga get themselves on the scoreboard and bring the house down here? Large Tongan contingent. And come back, they'll play the free kick. Tonga will be happy just to tap and go here. Won't want to set, and they do tap. The French come up very quickly now in defence. But good run. French player on their feet though, the penalty comes, so clean is there, the fetch is there, the fetcher wins it. Quick tap from Gorgu, intercept almost on, very good run, this time from Frogier. France rampant. Oh, another good tackle, couldn't quite hold it though from number 19, Pautifa for Tonga. Gorgu's been good though, the fullback for France, in the great tradition of the great French fullbacks. The great Serge Blanco, of course, will be remembered here in New Zealand for his efforts in the 1987 Rugby World Cup, the match winner in the semi-final against Australia. And it is all over. So it is all over. France have beaten Tonga 51 points to 0. And now, wonderful camaraderie being shown between both sides. There'll be sore bodies in both teams with just a 3-day turnaround before both sides will front up again on Friday New Zealand time. But take nothing away from a very good French performance. They would have been frustrated with that first up loss against the Defence Ferns. But today they were composed, they were good at set piece, they earned the right to go wide at key moments. And even when they did get comfortably ahead, at no point did they lose their shape. We will go inside and get reaction from both camps. Stephen Harris is standing by. Let's go. Let's go down pitch side with Stephen Harris.
Just getting some post-match reaction from our first game of the day here at College Rifles, the Defence Force tournament. I'm with the French skipper, Audrey Baru. A very good win over Tonga. You'd be pretty pleased with that.
T'es contente de la victoire? Est-ce que t'es contente de la victoire?
Très contente du groupe et on a livré une bonne prestation et on est satisfaite et c'est encourageant pour le prochain match dans 3 jours.
Yeah, she's very happy with the victory. We had a good group today, so she's very pleased with that, and it's encouraging for the next game that's coming on Friday.
Now, how important was it to bounce back after the loss to New Zealand on the first day?
Alors, à quel point c'était important de rebondir après la défaite contre la Nouvelle-Zélande vendredi?
Oui, c'était très important, histoire de pouvoir persévérer, pouvoir sortir de poule afin de pouvoir jouer la demi-finale qui reste l'objectif pour nous, match après match, quoi.
Yeah, it was really important because to get to the semi-final we had to win that game, so we had to bounce back after the defeat. So she's happy that we could do that, and the objective is to go to the semi-final now.
Audrey, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
You're welcome.
Well, there you go. It's Audrey Barreau with just her thoughts after what was a very comprehensive win. While we're here, we quick turn around. We'll get to our skipper of the Tongan team this afternoon, Uhaina Hala Api. Uhaina, a little bit different from the other day. A very tough French team.
It was a really tough game, but we put everything inside there in the game. So we give our best, so it's all good. That's how it is.
Listen, playing against these European teams, you know they're very tough up front. They were very tough at set piece. What were the messages that came from the coaches at halftime? You seemed a little bit better in the second half.
Actually, what the coaches told us at halftime, that we just put so much effort inside there. We should put our best inside there, and we did, and we're just proud of it. So we good.
And of course, a real pleasing experience for many of your players here today.
Yeah, as I've said before, this is most of our team is our first experience playing rugby. But we're getting there. We're getting there, and there's so much to work on. But for now, we're happy with it. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, thank you, Ahena. The girls having a lot of fun here at this particular tournament. But once again, for the French team, a very good win by 51 points to 0 over a very brave Tongan team.
They certainly do bring just so much passion and colour, the Tongans, and they will be back in action later in the week here at this first ever International Defence Rugby competition. It is France who have run out 51 points to 0 winners over Tonga. Don't go away, folks, because up next it is Great Britain taking on Australia. Looking forward to that one.